And this is in regards to a tweet, okay, that Nash Weedle put out. And let me go ahead and get this screenshot up so everyone can see who's tuned into the live show here. And this is interesting. And I bring this up as I'm pulling this up because this is something that I would personally be interested in.
Okay. There we go.
Let me see if I can, there we go. Now, this is a patent, so let me go through this. So Nash Weedle posted this patent, and it describes Nintendo showing you multiple screenshots of where you've last left off in the game. So it sounds like a minor improvement, but let me ask you this. How many times have you started a game and then life happens, like forcing you to put a hold on your adventure only for you to return months later, completely forgetting about what you last did in the game, what you were currently doing, and then what you were planning to do? So this is something I've struggled with for what seems like decades now. So what do you guys think about this? Would you appreciate an improvement like this? Would you like to see Nintendo maybe take it a step further by maybe recording your last 15 to 30 seconds of gameplay? Like, what if they gave us an option to even change the length of recorded gameplay? Like, for example, some games, I don't need to know where I left off. Like, if I'm playing NBA 2K, I don't need a 30-second clip taking up
Either
my
on the menu
storage,
or the
right?
court.
Right. So I'd choose to maybe, if there's an option, do screenshots for that. But if I'm playing an RPG, or big open world game, I'd love to have a 30-second clip to like jog my memory because again, let's face it, some days we only get a small window of opportunity to game, and you don't want to spend like the first 10 to 20 minutes trying to remember what you were going to do next. So even something like an in-game sticky note where you could write yourself a note, like using the touch screen for the next time you pick up the game, would be cool.
Yeah.
And as a sub note, on PS5, when you get a trophy, it will record a clip of gameplay.
Annoyingly so.
Yeah. But the tech point is, and I agree with you, but the technology is there.
Yeah.
And they offer you a way to change it to a screenshot or change the length of the clip. So to me, it sounds like the same thing, except for saving, which, like I said, I think this would be super helpful so I could jump in and out of a game. What do you guys think? Tucker, you want to go ahead and go first with this?
Sure. Well, I do want to add a little context. I opened up the tweet that you were looking at from Nash Weedle, and I hit translate. And one thing I don't know if you mentioned, but is this patent seems to be, for now, only for Switch Online games, so
Yes.
Virtual Console, previous system games. And so you mentioned something like NBA 2K, and obviously it's not on NSO. So this, I think, does make a little more sense in terms of how easy it is to telegraph what you're going to be doing or what you did just do on older games that are much more straightforward or linear, or it's more obvious, like what the last area we're in. But it's a very cool idea. I'm someone with a passion for the games that I'm playing where I don't put them down for extended periods of time. And if I put a game down for longer than like a week, I'm not coming back to it. That's just the honest to God truth. I know myself well enough to where I've moved on to something else by that point in time. So I don't know if this would ever help me actively, but it's obviously something that would be very, very interesting to be able to mess with and choose what works best for you as a game player, because I'm obviously not everyone plays the way that I do. So yeah, I would like this. I actually remember the only thing that I can think of in a game, and I'm sure there are other examples, but the one that comes to my head of a game that does something like this is actually the Generation 4 games for Pokemon on DS, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, would have a little journal that when you started up the game before you were able to get into the world, you would have to read through like the last 3 things that you did and be like, you caught up this Pokemon on this route on this day, or you beat this gym, or you traded with this person. And so that I remember that always like having to like just tap through that. I'm like, okay, get out of the way. But obviously, there are some people that need something like that, and an image is a lot better than a DS journal automatically chronicling what last Starly you got. So I like this idea quite a bit, and Nintendo's always experimenting with things like this. So I would love to see them implement this.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty cool. And you did mention that the translation up here is for the NSO,
Yeah.
and I would love to see this come to like the actual console for Switch too.
Yeah.
Is what I failed to mention. I would love to see this actually come to the console, because you'd think if they can get it to work on the NSO,
Yeah.
it should be able to work on Switch too, especially if that technology seems like it's already there, like with the PlayStation trophy system and recording your gameplay. So yeah, this would be cool. I would appreciate it for sure. John Nebo, what do you think?
Oh yeah, no, this would be awesome, because I think I don't know if I'm the only one, but I've restarted games. Like if I
absolutely.
like I actually went back to Metroid Prime Remastered recently, and I'm like, what the heck was I doing? I don't know where to go, and I don't know where I'm at. I don't know what the objective is, so it's a little tricky remembering. But there is a modern game that does a pretty good job of this. It's Dragon Quest XI. They have a whole like previously on. Whenever you load up the game, it's like previously on, and then it shows like what happened in the story, where you're meant to go next. And yeah, it would be a huge benefit to have something like this. And I
think it would be very forward thinking.
It would.
Just to be completely honest, very, very forward thinking. I know
we gotta wait like 20 years for Nintendo to get this.
I mean, look, yeah, PlayStation's kind of played around with a similar concept with some of the retro game library things, and I think, when you look at what the other platforms are doing with like quick resume and all this other stuff, this is just another way to further enhance things. Obviously, the way this is reading is it only applies to NSO. But this reminds me of remember when Nintendo had this idea, Reggie Fils-Aimé put it out there at the beginning of the Switch generation, about what NSO, the app, was supposed to be? Anyone remember
that? No, I don't.
Well, Reggie promised that you would be able to make groups, which we can't do. You'd be able to plan events with your friends on your friends list through the application to plan future play dates. And all of this sounded great because no other, PlayStation doesn't do that. Xbox doesn't do that. And then Nintendo just never did it. NSO came out and boop. We never got the actual features that were promised for that NSO app. Eric definitely remembers this because I was mad. I was very mad because he actually made it. He actually made the phone app sound exciting for a moment.
Oh, the mobile app. Oh,
yeah. You were supposed to be able to message people and set play times, and like none of that actually
I
happened.
do kind of remember that now. Yeah.
So this now reminds me of like that, where it's like, dude, this is a really cool idea, and because it's so damn cool, we're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents.
Is the NSO app going away? Like, are we still going to have to use that thing for the Switch?
The phone app?
Yeah, the phone app.
No, they're going to keep using it just because I think it connects them to the mobile fan base, because they have Nintendo accounts for their mobile games. So I feel like that it won't go away. They need to expand it. They need to make it better. But they
definitely rolled back their mobile initiative a little bit over the last couple of years. I mean, Mario Kart Tour is not being supported anymore. And when was the last time they put out a new game?
Well, I mean, I think Mario Kart Tour is not being supported because they're going to have a new one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we're going to get a Mario Kart Tour port to the Switch too. That's
here's the thing. I know it's a little off topic, but I do think that the Mario Kart Tour was kind of made as just like all their mobile games were, to be kind of this experimental game and see how it does. Obviously, Tour was very popular for them. They had like over 200 million downloads. That's huge for them. However, it didn't function with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And I feel like they want to launch a new version that functions with the brand new Mario Kart.
Yeah, very possible. System. Very, very possible.
So You got to remember, a lot of people that worked on Tour also worked on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah.
So the teams are very close. So it's kind of like, I think they just needed to kill. I think they just realized at some point we need to kill this to create cross functionality with the next one. I think that's actually going to be a huge thing they advertise when the next one comes out, that you can play, a mobile version, and even like some of the races or some of the modes, you might even be able to play with people on Switch 2 and stuff. So
imagine with especially with kind of how they monetize Mario Kart Tour, if they crossed over a new one with a new Mario Kart, and let's say Mario Kart, the mobile version, has all these like playable characters that are just like beyond the roster of a regular Mario Kart, but like you have to either earn them or like it's like pay to win, so you have to basically buy them, but then you can transfer over the racers that you have in the mobile game to the Switch game. Like, I think that is a feature, just from you bringing up that idea, that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Or super advantageous to them, I should say. It wouldn't be cool to have to like buy characters, but I could definitely see them doing something like that.
Yeah.
And guys, I actually want to bring up this other point too. There's an additional tweet that followed from Nash, for what it's worth, just because it is some new news. But they mentioned that it also seems that at some point the NSO virtual console will be able to be grouped together and have a customizable menu where you can sort the games, all of them, like regardless of the console to which it belongs to, eliminating the games that you are not interested in and leave the ones you want. And, I read this and do I really care? Not a ton. Like, it doesn't bother me. What I like about it is the fact that they're changing things around, like they're doing new things, because seeing this gives me hope that, hey, on the Switch 2, hopefully we'll have a much improved operating system, a much improved way of organizing our games. Maybe we'll have folders.
Yeah.
Like just some of the normal things, I guess, we become accustomed to if we play games on other consoles, right? I would love to see that. So this tweet kind of gave me hope that they're doing things that we're not really thinking they're going to do, like this, save state technology. No one's really done anything different when it comes to saving games, right? That's not something that would have been on my list of things that I would have predict to be part of Switch 2, is a new way to save your games where you have screenshots or footage of what you did next. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think what's exciting most about this idea, because this is more buzzing me than that last one, is that it does. We knew that they wanted to continue on the same eShop and things to the next console, make sure they weren't losing and continuing on the subscriber base and people maintaining their purchases. But I'm very glad that this indicates that that NSO specifically will also be carried over, because something I've been thinking about recently is I think NSO is a great service. I think it's worth the time, and I've played plenty of great games on there. But I've been worried that I will not have access to this for very long. But if they're continuing it over onto Switch 2, and it seems like consolidating it and making it something that's even more accessible and customizable, and maybe an even more core part of that Switch 2 experience, that is very, very exciting to me. And especially because you can see the decisions that were made from the beginning of the Switch, not launching with NSO, launching with just NES when that was just a thing, then adding Super Nintendo, adding N64, adding Genesis, the Game Boys, and now even the mature app for the two N64 games. It's a very scattershot, download what you want, kind of piecemeal, awkward thing where some of them have weird libraries, some of them have great libraries. But I think that if there's just a Nintendo Switch Online app that has a different tab for each of the consoles and your home tab where you can put just the games you want, you don't have to have those godforsaken SP versions cluttering up your menu. Like, there are so many things that I like about NSO, but it is very clearly a service that was put together over time and not thought of as one cohesive experience from the beginning. And with a next gen console refresh, start clean, make it one app, make it customizable, update the UI a little bit. You don't have to have all these things separately downloaded. I think that sounds absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, that was my biggest takeaway from this was just the idea that, yeah, okay, the customization stuff, don't really care that much about it, but one app, everything
Yes.
included. I don't think they'll update it on Switch because just the way it is. But when Switch 2 comes out, it really does feel like, hey, they're thinking about how to make NSO really pop on that next platform. It's going to be their day one, unlike coming nearly 2 years late to the Nintendo Switch.
Less friction.
You know, if you have all of the games ready to go and you have it all in one application that they may, I mean, you within the application, if you want to navigate by platform, that's cool. You can have that in there, but that might just be one way to navigate. You know, you can probably have your favorites list and navigate that way. I get what they were doing with the original NSO was each app is its own emulator, and that's kind of how they're running it. But that's not convenient for the end user. I mean, I've got like 6 or 7 different spots on my back end of my Switch for different NSO apps. And then there's also a giant NSO icon at the bottom of the home menu that like
you can see those all being integrated into one thing.
Yeah, like it's weird because you go to the NSO icon and it gives you the news. Oh, here's the latest update. Then you click on a game and it loads a completely different application. And it's like, what is this? This is not very user intuitive.
Like how Game Pass is on Xbox, just one of the main things at the top or the bottom of the screen. Like foreground it, make it easy to access, keep it all in one place, and just make it, because I don't think if it was all under that one thing, even people that don't pay for it would just click on that because it's one of the main things on there and be like, oh, that's a lot of games that I would get access to. It would probably make people subscribe than being confused of, oh, I have to download this separate one. And then if I want the mature games, like it's a whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think, the mature game one is something they'll probably have to sort out how to like limit that. I guess if it's a kid account, it just wouldn't load, right? Yeah. That's what I presume if it's a kid account, unless the parents approved it. But I just really like what I see Nintendo doing here. Regardless of the customization, the fact they're thinking about it. But again, this is just like I said before, it's one of those things where whenever it seems like there's these cool ideas, they don't always really come out.
Yeah.
And these are just patents, which means these could be completely canceled ideas that they're not going to do. So, but I have hope, because here's the thing. We know a new platform's coming and they got to make it stand out. And this could be one of the ways where they're like, hey, we learned now your NSO experience is subscription you pay every year for, or every month, depending. Man, we just made this nice and smooth and snappy and ready to go for you out the gate. And if they let you do that, and then also let you get the feature from PlayStation Xbox with the quick resume.
Oh yeah.
That'd be sick. That would be sick.
They did. I don't know if you guys got an email from Nintendo, but I got one last night, and I'm sure you probably did, but it was in regards to the NSO. So it was for NSO members. They sent out a survey on wanting to hear like what are your most liked features? What would you improve? All this stuff. So that was good to see as well, because they're asking the fans, hey, what would you like to improve here? And they also gave you an option to write in whatever you want them to do. And of course, I wrote in for them to add more consoles. What they had asked is like, why? It was like, why are you basically for sure going to renew your membership? That wasn't the exact words, but I had filled that out in my survey. And I just put, because I expect that you guys are going to be adding new consoles for the Switch too. So yeah, I'm very excited to renew my membership. Like, I'm going to get that seed planet right now for them.
I will attribute it to you if it does happen.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate that. While we're on this topic of these improvements with the UI and whatnot, I would also really like to see them improve their online storefront majorly. I think it's kind of a mess, but more than that, it's clunky and it's slow. I don't know if that's everyone's experience, but that's been mine.
It takes ages to load for absolutely.
I just bought Switch vouchers to get Luigi's Mansion 2, and it is so slow. I don't understand why it's that slow.
The Wii U eShop was also slow. That took forever.
It's slow because it's a web application. It's not actually a local app on your system. It's a web page.
Yeah.
It's literally a web page that they're loading in. And so, yeah.
Because it's been slow since day one. Like since going onto the store when the Switch came out, I remember the first time I'm like looking to see how my internet connection is.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm pulling it up on my phone to see what my internet speed is like. Is my internet okay? I'm like, this can't be the Switch, is it? Like, this is brand new. It can't be this slow. But sure enough, it has been. And we've all learned to live with it. It's not a big deal. How many times, you know, do you really go onto the store? Usually I know what I'm going to go buy or I'm checking out a sale. But even, I will say this, even when I'm checking out like one of these massive sales that they're having.
God. And you have to
Dude,
load.
Yeah, it's so hard. It's like, God, this is taking forever, man. Like, is there a list I could look at online? So that would be nice for sure. Do you guys have anyone want to add anything before we get ready to switch over to this next topic?
Yeah, can I throw my 2 cents in here real quick?
Absolutely.
With the save states and stuff like that, I think it actually would also be kind of cool to put in, you know, an option for like if you want to put a description of that save state too. Just so you can, you know, if they don't do a clip, you know, give you an option of a 25-word, you know, description of what you were doing if you want to. I know a lot of people are just going to go the hell with that and just, you know, but give you the option. I think it'd be a pretty neat thing. And yeah, obviously you guys touched on it, seeing all of the NSOs in one app would be freaking amazing. Cause yeah, it's I want to play something on the NES. So no, now I want to go play something on the SNES one. Now I got to quit out of this one, go into that one. It's just time consuming and stupid. So
It is. That's a good point too. I like your idea that at least give you, you know, some characters to work with, so you can actually write a little note to yourself on where you left off. And you know, you mentioned the apps as well, and I was just thinking of it as you said it. It's like when you do want to switch games, it's kind of annoying that you have to exit out of the app and then go into another app. And if you haven't accessed the app in like a week or two, it seems, I don't know about you guys, but it always has to like check to make sure you can play the app every time. And then sometimes it needs to update the app. It's like, I just want to get in and play it, man.
Yeah, dude, I can't play any NSO games on this trip.
I was wondering.
Oh yeah.
At all. I
Yeah.
just can't. It won't let me. We got to do an online verification check. What are you talking about? My Switch has been online connected for like 17 months. Can you just like let me play my shit? But I'm having that problem with a lot of games. And yes, my Switch is my main Switch. Some of the games work just fine. Some of them don't, including some of my physical games. I don't know why.
Oh no.
It's very weird. Some are fine and some aren't.
Are you having that issue with Paper Mario still that you had at the airport?
Yeah, I still have that problem.
Oh my God. That's horrible.
So yeah, when I'm connected to some weird Wi-Fi, like I'm not connected on Wi-Fi on the cruise ship because you have to pay per device, right? So I'm not gonna like spend $150 to connect my Switch to their Wi-Fi. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no.
Like I'm already doing it to do the podcast and stuff. So I'm like, you know, I don't understand what's going on. And I know I got a lot of comments for those who don't know. I put on Twitter while I was traveling that, you know, my daughter bought me Paper Mario, 1,000-Year Door, and I went to load it up and it wouldn't load without doing an online check, which it's not supposed to do that with a physical game unless it's not your main Switch and it's like a second Switch. But it is my main Switch, and it lets me play most of my digital games and everything else. But that one physical card, if I put Tears of the Kingdom in physically, no problem. I put in Mario Odyssey, no problem. I put in that game, nope, we need to check online quick. So, yeah, I played a little bit of it at the airport on their shitty free Wi-Fi, which was fine. I only need to do a check, and then I get to play. Then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to leave the game loaded, right?
Yeah, of course.
The other day, I go to play it on my thing. Oh, well, because I checked, you know, I went and changed my theme color back to dark because for some reason it went back to the light mode. And I did that, and I went back, and it said, oh, hey, there's been an error. We need to reload your game.
Yeah, you can't even go to the home screen. Yeah, that's happened to me before.
So now I just can't play it right now. I just don't get to play. It's kind of frustrating because I was hoping to have the game pretty much beat before my trip, and now it's like, well, now I'm not really even playing my Switch at all until I get home. So, yeah, that needs to get better. Like, I don't know what they're doing, and I understand we're living in this world where all these systems are like this always online thing.
Yeah.
But like, Switch is a on the go platform. It's not going to be always online. We shouldn't be dealing with these problems, especially with physical games.
Yeah, absolutely.
No real excuse. I mean, even digitally, there shouldn't be. You should only need to check once a month. In my opinion, anyways. Like, you do an online check quick to make sure you own the game, but you should already know I own the game. If I downloaded the damn game, it's my game.
I agree.
But, yeah.
I was disappointed when I saw your tweet. I truly was. I was like, man, that's some bullshit. You're trying to play your game right now and you literally can't. And that goes against everything that kind of the Switch is. Like, we shouldn't have to deal with any of that, especially with a physical game. So, yeah, that was disappointing to read, man. No doubt.
I know.
Just to give Joycey J a response, she's like, call a Nintendo tech service. I actually did. And they just said, well, it shouldn't do that.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
No, that was it. They had no other way for me to problem solve it.
I mean, that's good to hear because it shouldn't. Remember, I replied to your tweet. I'm like, that shouldn't happen because I played Paper Mario on the go. I played it in the car, and everything was fine. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And I guess they don't.
The funny
either.
thing is, I thought maybe it was just me, but then a couple other people DM me and said, "Hey, this is happening to me too. Have you figured out a solution?" I'm like, "No." So,
Dang.
and this probably all has to do with like Nintendo's account system in general. Probably needs a little updating heading into this next gen system. They tacked on a lot of features over this generation. I think they need to like recode it a bit going into the next one.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.